Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 229 of Your Take Two podcast. And I got a question for you, Brian. What is grief, if not love persevering?
Oh my God, I
Uh,
just got that tattooed on me.
Woo! By the way, I don't know if you guys at home are watching right now on YouTube. We are both wearing our hoodies to honor Jason Sudeikis today. I think that's what this is, the Jason Sudeikis hoodie show. So, welcome, Take Two podcast, episode 229. We've got 5 or 6 different reviews for you guys. One that's maybe kind of strange, not something we usually do, a patron requested review that's from the 80s, so that's different. But
Nice.
I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And a couple other things we're going to get into, some first takes, some reviews, and then, of course, tons of news, big Golden Globes breakdown from last night. So it's going to be a little bit of a packed episode. How you doing today, Brian?
We're from the 80s, you and I. We came from the
Yeah,
80s.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Um, Tony, it's March.
It is March. It is.
It's March. And so you're going to think I'm only excited for one thing in March. But no, sir. All the crap we have coming in March, this is going to be a loaded month. For the year of film that we've just had to endure, and I use that word very loosely because people are enduring far worse right now because of the
Sure.
pandemic. But I feel like March might be our swing point, right?
It's the
Snyderverse,
kickoff. It's the
Kongzilla,
kickoff. Yeah, yeah.
Winter Soldier, but like we've got some good stuff coming. Theaters opening, we're going to talk about it in the news. Some percentages are going up.
Sure,
I
sure.
feel like spring is here. We're kind of moving out, not necessarily out of the pandemic, but a little bit. It coincides. But there's
I
just
hope
some
so.
good stuff coming, streaming coming that we're going to get to review. We're going to, eventually get to an awards season thing that we're going to get to. That's in April, but still, I just feel like March, baby. March Madness is here, and we're talking about film wise. So I'm just like really inspired. Let's go, you know?
I am too. I am too. But I'm also like trepidatious at the same time. Like, hey, folks, let's pump the brakes a little bit. You can get
Yeah.
back to normal life somewhat, but just at least wear the mask and like maybe schedule your vaccine. Like, do the right thing here, folks. And then we're gonna get to the theaters and we're gonna get to watch our sports. I mean, they're talking about reopening, sports,
Yeah.
baseball, people in the stands again. Thank God. I can't wait for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, really looking forward to spring, the sports, getting outside, better weather, all that stuff. Let's do it, man.
Speaking of sports, I'm doing the 40 Days of Sports movies right now. We're right in the
All
midst
right.
of that, dropping them all. I will tell you, pulling back the curtain a little bit, today's was draft day, which I
Mm-hmm.
had planned for down the road. But after last night, we're going to talk a little bit more Chadwick Boseman later. I just had him like heavy on the heart, and I was like, I'm throwing Chadwick some love today. Just after he was on my mind, he was on the heart. So we did draft day today. So jump onto our Take Two Universe page. That's where you're going to find the sports movie stuff. That's on Facebook. It's the group page. You can join both of our pages there, regular Take Two podcast, but then also the group page. That's where we do fun stuff like this, interactive. People jump on, comment. Did you like this movie? That and other like topicy things. We break it all down, and fans talk amongst each other, which is the fun part there. Follow our Instagram, follow our Twitter at Take Two Podcast, and of course 434-602-1931. That's the phone number.
Yeah, you should have played that better. You should have had a post-it note that you opened up and it said like draft day today, no matter what. Like
That's right. Darn it. Folks, right now in your feeds, you have The Realm of Take Two. He ended February very strongly. A huge show, reviewed a whole bunch of stuff. Roy jumped on there, did another fantastic job. That's the monthly spin-off show that you guys get on our feed. The Realm of Take Two, my chair literally just broke. Did everybody see
cool.
that? All right.
Well, sweet. Yeah,
Guess we're going to start keto
get
today.
one.
Okay. Those weight.
Yeah, the realm though. I mean, especially I want to tell everybody listening, if you miss our CW shows, especially, you're going to get a lot of that from there. Going forward, like Roy is definitely spending a lot of time breaking down some of those CW shows. So if you are looking for that stuff, you'll be able to find it right over there.
Patreon subscribers, you get bonus stuff every single month. You get no less than 2 episodes a month of bonus podcast content. And already Patreon subscribers, Craig, Roy, Katz, Lisa, Chris, Ryan, Vaughn, and Kevin. Vaughn and Kevin Vaughn, we're going to talk about a little bit later. Listen, it's $1 a month. That's it. We're going to give you a bunch of podcasting stuff. We're going to give you some merchandise, some shout outs, as you just heard. Other bonus things, just conversations amongst us that we know we can chat with you guys about because you're in on the joke. We love it. We're putting out extra stuff. We will have more stuff this week is going to get dropped and some guests and things. And Tony will be back for a few of you guys noticed that we missed out on him last time and you missed your
Hmm.
voice. And I got some side text saying I missed Tony. I was like, oh,
Really?
thanks.
No, you
Yeah,
didn't.
I swear
Really?
to you, I will show you.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
Well, thank you to whoever did that. But yeah, that's just
it
because
was
of
my
scheduling
mom.
right now, and I will be back soon. So the Patreon, don't worry. And I have some other ideas for Patreon going forward, and I think once we get back, we're going to be hammered at home and maybe giving you guys more than usual, just to kind of make up for what we missed out on.
We have a new listener right now. One of our frequent commenters, a frequent participant in our socials, and a listener himself, Bart, had a baby. Welcome
Oh,
to
nice.
welcome to the
Congrats,
world,
Bart.
Timothy Luke. Just born the other day, I believe on Saturday, if I'm doing my days correctly. So we have a new Take Two podcast, baby, in the works, and a new
Awesome.
listener, new
Awesome. Another
subscriber.
download. That's all I need. Another download, you
That's
know?
all I want. Congratulations, Bart, on the little one. All right, as Tony mentioned, we got a gigantic show for you guys. We're going to lead things off with the poll results.
Yeah, and I dropped a little surprise on you guys this week by doing two polls instead of just one. And also, like I said, we were doing the Black History Month. I kind of ended that a little early just because of the Golden Globes were this weekend. I was trying to really drum up some interest there and get the discussion going. I will say I was a little let down by the amount of discussion. There wasn't really a lot, some votes, decent, but not a lot of discussion with it. But anyways, the two polls were focusing on the different categories of the Globes. They have Best Picture, but they have drama and comedy musical. So I wanted to do two different polls, splitting them up. So the first one I put up was the drama, focused on Mank, Trial of the Chicago 7, Nomadland, and Promising Young Woman. And the reason I only chose those four out of the five nominees is the other one nobody's seen yet. Like, it had just come out this weekend to the public. So the time the poll was up, we hadn't even seen it. We still haven't reviewed it for the show. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to pick these four. So out of those four, what do you think won the poll? I don't know if you looked at the results or not.
You know what? If I did look, I don't remember.
Well, it was a tie, which is
Ooh.
kind of shocking. So a tie between Trial of Chicago 7
Okay.
and Nomadland. They both got 32% of the vote on Twitter. And the funny thing is, I was going to say maybe Insta, Facebook would kind of break the tie. Facebook, we got one shout out for Trial of Chicago 7, and then we also got one other write-in vote for Nomadland. So basically, they are really dead heat, exactly there. Spoiler alert, the real result was Nomadland winning. So I guess our listeners were smart enough to know that, it had a good shot here. So that was good.
Sure.
Good for them. And I will say, Carol, put a little big circle and a star next to Carol here on Twitter. She has been speaking up and commenting, and she was kind of going along with our Golden Globes live tweeting last night and kind of liking some of that stuff. So thank you, Carol, for your input. She was the one who wrote in Nomadland, how good it was and how much she enjoyed it. There was one other mention of a film here, and that was Eurovision by Shy, which, sorry, buddy, not a drama, and it also wasn't even nominated. So, Shy, I'm crossing out your reference there.
He's being a silly bug.
Yeah. So, and then on the other side of the poll, I did the comedy musical films: Hamilton, Palm Springs, Borat 2, Prom. I left music off just because, again, we haven't seen it. It has currently a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. And yeah, it just seemed like it had no shot in hell at winning. So I left it off the poll totally. What do you think won this poll?
Not music.
Hamilton, 41%.
Wait, Hamilton won for real?
Hamilton, 41%. Also, Chris on Instagram shouted out Hamilton. And I kind of agree with them. I think that probably should have won. I said it before on the show. If you nominate that, then you should nominate everything in it. And if you're going to nominate it, it should win. But, spoiler alert, again, it did not win in real life. Borat 2 won in real life, which came in third in our poll, even behind Palm Springs. So I think a lot of people were surprised by the Borat win. And I kind of put something on Twitter about that, too, last night. Like, does this mean we're going to see Borat as a Best Picture Oscar nominee, possibly? It might. If it wins that, Golden Globe, sometimes that can be enough to propel into the, the nomination. So we'll see when the nominations come out in mid-March. If Borat 2 has enough steam behind it now to get a Best Picture Oscar nominee, that'd be crazy. So
yeah, big time. But
yeah, fun poll, and you guys were kind of half right. So thanks for your contributions, and in the future, a little bit more interaction, a little more reaching out, commenting as well is always nice, and we love it, and we love getting into the conversation with you guys.
Well done, listeners. We also enjoy when you guys give us ratings and reviews. You're welcome to do that. 5-star rating and review would be fantastic. Tony and I were talking off air. We have broken the record for amount of downloads in 1 week per episode, back-to-back weeks right now. So thank you, folks, for listening.
Going.
Yeah. Keep sharing. Let's try and break it again next week. Keep that thing growing. Tell your friends. Download, subscribe to the show. And then while you're there, just a quick rating and review. And also, if you need, jump over to YouTube. You can watch us there. You can put us on the background through your computer because we are on YouTube. The majority of our shows and content is all over there too. You can do that as well. But let us know because I'm looking at the podcast numbers. So our YouTube listeners, they don't factor there. You know what I mean? So maybe if you're a YouTuber only, just hit us on the side. Like, hey, guys, I did check out the show. You look good. You're beautiful as always. Nice haircut. I watch the show through YouTube, so maybe that'll help factor the numbers. So we keep breaking these records.
Sure.
I don't know, just for fun.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Let us know for sure. Let us know if it's worth it, and if you prefer us on YouTube. Like you said, I would like
Yeah.
to know. So
Sure, sure. All right, here's what you guys get to know is that we have some really good reviews coming up. I am very intrigued to talk to Tony about a couple of these, actually, and we're going to start things off with the United States versus Billie Holiday.
yeah, and this is a Hulu new release, straight to Hulu. This was kind of the last release under the wire. This one and The Father were like just getting into contention for award ceremonies by releasing here in this last weekend of February. I was pumped to see this. I remember seeing the trailer and I thought it looked pretty interesting. Andra Day looked really good in the role. And I was right. I was right based on that. Andra Day is great. She's great. She gives a great performance in this movie. That's where it ends for me, though, folks, because other than that, this movie is pretty bad, I think. I think this was a mess. It's all over the place tonally. It's all over the place pacing-wise. I feel like he's trying, the director, Lee Daniels, is trying to do some maybe artsy things with some different sequences that just didn't work for me. You didn't even know like what time period you were in or didn't know what certain things were going on. A lot of the supporting characters just weren't well written or fleshed out. Like you didn't understand the relationships between her and these people that were working with her. So I had a lot of problems with the movie overall. But at the end of the day, Andra Day's performance, solid. Again, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about it later, but she won a Golden Globe last night for her performance, which was a little surprising as well. I don't think people were predicting her to win, but she deserves it after seeing the performance. She really does deserve it. It's a great performance.
Yes.
And I wonder if that does put her now in that 5 for the Oscars. I think it does.
If there's a point in a film when you're watching with somebody else and you have to turn to them and go, did the whole screen just go black and white for you too? Because I wasn't sure. There were parts where, like, for a second, it goes black and white.
Unnecessarily,
and
right?
then switches back to color. So then I was like, well, maybe I should rewind and find out why did we go black and white for that scene? Because it didn't, like, flash back to the 20s or something. I was like, what are we doing? Why is that? There were some weird choices they made with that.
Well, some of that, the crossfading, some of it was done by using stock footage and stuff too. So that kind of made sense to me. But then sometimes it didn't. And I was like, why did you do? Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the director was just kind of like, let me try and do something cool here. And because there's another sequence in the middle of the movie where they're kind of tripping on drugs, and you see a flashback to her childhood, and then it goes right into this lynching scene. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, what is this lynching scene? Is this actually from her memory? Like, when is this taking place? I was like, where am I? Looking around, I didn't know what was going on in this movie.
Sure, because then she herself walks out of the scene, I'm 100% in step with what you're saying, and again, it's kind of weird because I was talking about this with other people with I Care a Lot, and it was like, oh, did you like I Care a Lot? I was like, if you can accept that they're bad people the entire way through, I think then here. Well, here again, you have to accept that they're bad people, but then I didn't, because once the friend started making excuses for why she gets high, I don't know, maybe it was just my own moralities. I was like, well, I don't buy those excuses, just don't get it. But so I couldn't accept loving some of the characters.
Well, and even with the, a big focus of the movie, they try to make it to be the Strange Fruit movie. Like, oh, the movie is all about this song and how the government went after her because she was singing this song. And it was controversial because it was talking about lynching in America. They try to keep coming back to that point, but it's really not about that. So why did they stress over bringing it back to the song so much? Because the movie is really just a straight biopic. It's very tropey. It's very what you imagine a biopic to be. Yeah. And I don't know. I didn't get that either. Like, to go back to the drug thing, they went back and forth with it throughout the movie where it's like, oh, I'm clean, and I'll say I'm clean for a couple days. And then next scene, she's using again. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, what happened here? And then sometimes, like you said, like the friends are like encouraging her to use, and I'm like, what? I don't understand the motivation of any of these characters or what's going on around her, and I just felt like it wasn't fleshed out enough.
Yeah, and I mean, we're being too cinephile, but so what? We live in a world where if this is an award season thing, we need to cover these bases. All right, let me go back to the positive. She's fantastic. She's so good for her first time in a big feature film. She's great. She does give you an emotional arc. She is gorgeous on stage when they do her up, and she just owns the room, and every note out of her mouth is absolute like a songbird. It's fantastic. She sings eloquently. We've already known that. But with the makeup and the dresses and everything, she looks fantastic. But then also when she's tripping and she's high and she's just on rock bottom, And in the jail cell when she's naked and they're hosing her down, like she gives you the range of humanality that you're just like, oh my God, this person is great. So she's deserving of every nomination.
Yeah.
Put it up against the other ones. I was very surprised to see her win, but I couldn't argue against it
No, and
because
she
she does a
deserves a
fantastic job.
nomination for sure. Yeah, she
Sure.
definitely deserves a nomination, and I think Oscar nomination should come from this. I will say I wasn't really familiar with her as a artist singing whatever before this, so I was
Probably
impressed.
just
And
rise
then
up, right?
I don't know, is that her song? I don't know, is that her?
Yeah, the rise up. I
Oh,
mean,
see, I don't even know. Okay, so I wasn't really
I just
familiar with
nailed
her,
that
and
too, by the
then,
way. I nailed that.
huh?
I nailed
Did you?
that.
Well, but I read a whole article about how she basically had to train herself to sing like in a different part of her register to
Mm,
hit that Billie Holiday sound as well. Because this was done before in the 70s with Diana Ross, but Diana Ross did it basically as Diana Ross. Like she wasn't really
mm.
stressing over, but like sounding like Billie Holiday that much. So I feel like at least Andre Day went there. Yeah, it's just a shame. My big takeaway from the movie is that Lee Daniels isn't a good director. He's not a good director, and it was based on a book, and then the script just seems like it has a lot of problems. So, would this have been better? Maybe it's just a series, a 4, 6 episode thing, and really breaking it down and fleshing out the characters around her. I would have liked to see that maybe more,
Awesome.
because there's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm like, Natasha Lyonne, she's in there for like 2 scenes, like almost unnecessary. But then if you're going to give it to me, you didn't give it to me enough. You didn't explain it enough. Or then some of these other men that come around and love interest, her
Sure.
first husband is kind of in there for the first couple scenes. Then he's gone, and they don't really even like explain where he went. Different men come and go, and like are in control of her money, and then
Yeah.
it tried to just make other points like black men working for the federal government and whatever. And there's a weird scene in here where he's like staring at the wall and he's like, the drug war was actually a war on us. And I was like, that is the cheesiest fucking line. Like,
Mm.
there's a lot of stupid stuff just shoved in there that they were trying to do with it that
Yeah.
maybe if it was longer, stretched out into a
Yeah.
series like that, it would have been better. Because I felt like the movie itself was too long for what they were trying to do, anyways. It was just like overblown for not giving me a full fleshed out thing. So a shame. It
We,
reminded me a lot actually of Judy from last year. I don't know if you ever caught up with Judy.
I did. I didn't like it at all, except she
And
did
it's
a
the
good
same, yeah,
performance.
same thing, right? I feel like that one felt exactly like this. So,
Sure. Yeah. But Ada does a good job, so we'll just end on that positive note. She does a great job acting in the movie, though. Hard to recommend. Folks, here's what's going to happen. She's probably going to get a nomination, so you're probably going to have to watch this film to at least familiarize yourself with her nomination. If you do that, hit us up on the socials and let us know, hey, guys, you were right. That movie sucked, but she's great. We're going to move on from that now to something else that happened in real life. I was trying to segue like the Billie Holiday to a real life person documentary. I did it back.
can I say one more thing? I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. Can I say one more
Please.
thing about it?
Sure, of course.
I usually don't say this either, but I felt like they overdid it on like sexual content. Like there's one scene in particular that was like too hardcore for like a regular like movie. I feel like it
Sure.
almost felt like it was like going into porn territory the way it was filmed and like. Did you feel
Yeah.
that way at all? I was like,
Well,
what are we like?
yeah, and then it's funny because her acceptance speech was about um, the raping culture, relationship rape, and trying to. So then I was trying to think back. Well, they did have some rough scenes in there, but I guess that's what they were going for there to try and hammer that home, I suppose. But you're not wrong.
I
You're not wrong
like
in bringing that up. The one where
uh,
she's getting arrested, she just takes off all her clothes. She's like, "Fine, arrest me."
search me, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That was fine. I just felt like the sex scene itself was
yeah.
maybe a
I'm
little
with you.
overdone. The one in particular, and then I also hated the setup of the interview narration. Like you start off with like this interview setup and a narrator kind of at the very beginning, and then you don't go back to it again for an hour of the movie easily. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm like, we're back in the interview, and I'm like, that was so inconsistent, and the pace of it was just thrown off by that. And also, I remember watching it the first 40 minutes or so, and you get to her in court, and I was like, oh, cool, we're moving right along with this movie. But I'm like, well, no, we've still got 2 more acts of this thing. So that's what I was saying with the pace of it felt really
100%.
off. And I feel like that first maybe third of it was really good, and then it just started to tail off for me. So those are my only other things I wrote down in the notes as far as complaints, I guess, because I found it kind of boring through a lot of the middle part.
It was very boring. My wife slept through the whole thing.
Yeah.
When I turned to her about the black and white part, she was conked out snoring, and I didn't bother to wake her because I knew there was
Sure.
no coming back.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to a documentary that you watched and let me know that you're watching it, and I quickly jumped on it too. A lengthy doc, just under 2 hours. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, which was fine. It was well worth it because it was well fleshed out. But this is Pele, or
Yeah,
Pele,
yeah.
which I've
Pele, yeah,
which
Pele.
I've been saying wrong my entire life. I've been saying Pele, but it's Pele, as everyone else in the world pronounces it.
I like this documentary. I knew I was going to jump on this. I'm a big soccer fan, especially Pele. I played soccer growing up, and I had a number 10 jersey for a while, as a lot of kids did and wanted to have because that's kind of the sought after number in soccer, partially because of him wearing it. So I really enjoyed it. You know, it was fine. It wasn't like, oh my God, the most groundbreaking thing, and I learned so much from it or anything like that. But I like the way that they took kind of that like yeah, typical sports documentary approach where they looked at these key moments in his history, these four different World Cups that he took part in, and then also compared it to what was going on in his country, in Brazil, and the different political issues that were going on in the background. Some of it maybe I didn't know about that angle of it, the different
Yeah.
dictatorship and the different protests and stuff. So it was cool to kind of go back and forth and show his impact on their society and what that meant for the country, you know, to be that big star that he was.
Yeah, I was educated a lot in this one, to be honest with you. I knew of the political stuff, that it occurred. I just did not know how involved, and crazy how, people looked up to him. It's almost like the beginning of we look to celebs for our political, views. Which way should we go type
Yeah.
thing, which is never a good thing. But this happened big time for them. And then even like the political outcomes of their soccer matches, like had they lost to Mexico, things would have been really bad for their country. That's crazy. A sporting match
Yeah.
would,
And
would
that
change
still
the
goes
political
on
landscape.
today, though. That
Sure.
still goes on today. I mean, even in
Yeah.
the 90s, you had that World Cup with Colombia where the guy scored the own goal, and the country basically had him killed after that. Like, that
Yeah.
stuff is really big and really, it does happen, sadly. But yeah, and like you said, he was one of the first to be kind of on the TV, like, as a sports star, and the rise of that, and advertising, and all that stuff. And then they criticized him for not getting involved in the politics, which kind of also reminded me of Last Dance, where Jordan, that came up with Jordan a little bit too, where he didn't really, Republicans buy sneakers too, that kind of thing. So yeah, it really was the precursor to that, and created that persona of celebrity, sports people on TV or whatever.
I also did not know how injured he was throughout his career. And that gave me an even
Yeah,
bigger appreciation for him because I mean, I always knew how dominant, obvious, but the fact that a
yeah,
lot of it, he was injured or coming off injury. And it was funny, the one reporter called him fat and out of shape. I'm like, really? That's fat and out of shape? All right.
yeah.
Um,
No, it is weird because I mean the last World Cup he plays in, I'm gonna retire or whatever. He didn't even want to play in that one, and he was only 29, not even
yeah,
30, and it's like holy crap.
yeah,
Yeah,
old
I
man.
didn't realize that either. That basically he didn't even play in like two of the finals that he played in the World Cup. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so it almost makes you think like, well, why was he considered so great if he didn't win these World Cup finals? You know?
They threw stats at the end to remind you why, whatever, 1,200 goals and 1,300 games, something crazy like that. I was like, wow, the stats are crazy. A good doc. I really enjoyed it. I was glad that I caught wind of it from you because it was a good, enjoyable doc. I guess I just wasn't expecting it to be just under 2 hours long, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like a multi-episode thing, so they
Hmm.
went the other way, I guess. But
Sure, sure.
it was a little sad though too to see him like he got choked up a couple times reminiscing, and to see him now like struggling to get around, like he's in a wheelchair basically. I was like, oh man, like I
Sure.
didn't know he was like that down. But yeah, it was cool, especially if you have any kind of interest in Pele or soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah.
yeah, check it out on Netflix, easy
Oh,
watch.
one more thing I forgot. I am curious though if he lived in today's times with the Twitters and whatnot, like the amount of affairs that he had on his first wife, and that he
Yeah,
very much was a womanizer or whatever. Um, how we would look at him today with all of that kind of stuff, depending because
sure.
certain cultures, certain sports, you can get away with that more than others, even in today's society. But it was funny that he was just like, "Oh, I never lied to her. She knew about everyone. I never lied to anybody in my life." It's like, all right, I guess she was down.
Good for you.
Whatever.
Yeah, good job.
Keep bringing home that World Cup money, and we'll be okay with it, I suppose. But
There you go.
all right. I, I remember it's funny because I don't think you and I talked much about this. We saw like the trailer and we were like, all right, they're doing a live action Tom and Jerry. Neat.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it came out last weekend and I didn't even bring it up to the kids. And we saw whatever, a promo, whatever. And my son was like, there's a mouse running around. Like, what is that? So I was like, oh, do I go down the road of explaining Tom and Jerry or should we just throw it on? So we just threw it on. Tom and Jerry movie. It's fine. The kicker is Tom and Jerry are not the characters in this movie. It is about Chloe Grace Moretz swindles her way into getting a high end job at the best hotel in all of New York City, and she is like their event planner, and she's working with Michael Pena in this hotel. And there's the biggest wedding of the year happening between these two big celebs, whom they have to appease and make everything go right. Well, they find out they got a mouse in the hotel. Some mouse moved in. It's Jerry. Well, how did they get rid of a mouse? Hire a cat. They found the cat off of the street, put him in there to go chase down the mouse. Tom and Jerry stuff happens, and it ruins things, and as it would be. I feel if the humans weren't in this and you just gave me like an actual Tom and Jerry cartoon, I may have enjoyed it more.
Sure.
The part that blew my mind was I was like, how old is Chloe Grace Moretz? How old do you think she is?
22.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're a better guesser than I. 24. I don't know why I thought she was older. The other kicker is that Michael Pena with her is in his mid-40s, and he looks fantastic for that. I was like, wow, they look like they could be the same age, but she just turned 24, and he's 40 plus.
Yeah.
I
missed this one. The kids and my wife watched it while I was at work without me, and I was like, it's fine. I wasn't like pressed to see it. But I don't think my wife or my son really cared for it very much. My daughter seemed to be kind of into it, and she was the one who kind of wanted to watch it and was like, oh yeah, that looks fun, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, I guess that's it. Like maybe it's more for the young kid range.
Yeah.
It's hard to be critical about something like that. But my son was saying he was kind of annoyed by Chloe Grace Moretz. He didn't really like her in the movie.
You could tell they were like, all right, let's throw some adult elements of she's bad, she lies, but then she comes back around, just so that the adults can like, oh, there's some humanity in here, and this is not. I really feel they should have just owned being for the 7 to 11-year-old age bracket and just had more fun with it that route. That's it.
Yeah.
If your kids want to watch it, go watch it, but if not, don't force them.
I saw a friend of the show. He posted that when I guess it's Jerry takes out a phone. No, Tom. Tom takes out a phone and does a selfie of himself during the 12th rap song on the soundtrack. He was like, I'm done. This isn't my Tom and Jerry. And that's what my son said too. He's like, there was a lot of like rap music in it. Yep. It was just like, yeah. So I guess, they're just trying to modernize it and make it a Tom and Jerry for this generation. So in some ways it's good, some ways it's bad. We don't want to lose those cartoon properties, but I guess that's the only way to do it is to kind of modernize it.
Yeah.
How about the animation and stuff? Did that work?
Oh, the animation was fun. And the other thing is that they're not the only animated ones there. There's other cats. Obviously, Spike the dog is in it a lot. There's the pigeons that open the movie rapping, flying through New York City. That's kind of fun.
So like a Tribe Called Quest song or something, right?
Oh, yeah. And so, like, that stuff's neat. And there's stuff that keeps your interest or whatever. Like, there was no point when I was watching, I was just like, oh, God, this is annoying. But it was just at no point was it just like, we easily could have turned it off, but I didn't want to. Obviously, I wanted to finish watching for the show, but I also wanted to find out what happened. So I'll give it that. I'll give it that credit.
Works for me.
Okay, we have something here on a show called First Take, and that's normally when we see like an episode or two of something, and it's going to be a long series or what have you. We just kind of want to give you our initial impressions, and the good news is you're going to get 2 first takes from us. Tony is going to lead off with his first take. Is this called Alan Farrow? Is that what the show's called?
Alan V Farrow. Did you not watch it at all?
Yes, sir. Should I have?
All right. I don't know. That's up to you. I really don't know what else to say about this show besides it is a hard watch. It is a hard watch for sure. So going into it, just know that right off the bat. So this is basically about Woody Allen, which everyone knows. Woody Allen, a lot of people think he's gross because he married a girl that he was like adopted dad to, basically, was the story everyone grew up knowing.
Yeah.
He married Sun Yi. She was in her 20s, and she was an adopted daughter of him and Mia Farrow, whatever. Which actually, if you look into that, come to find out, it's really not as creepy as it sounds because he was never truly like her dad. Like Mia Farrow had adopted her. They never lived together. None of that. Like he basically met her when she was already 21 years old. Like, so it's kind of a little more on the up and up, not as disgusting as people think it is. But this, this makes me want to reframe everything I've ever thought about Woody Allen. And now I'm like, almost like, I don't think I want to watch Woody Allen stuff anymore. And that's how gross this is to me. It's looking at another adopted daughter of his with Mia Farrow named Dylan Farrow. And she's in the show and she's talking about her experiences with him. And it's just gross and it's sick. She's talking about remembering him getting in bed with her. They're both in their underwear when she's like 5 years old. He's putting his head in her lap when she's a little girl. All these kind of things that just sound really gross to me. And this is only the first episode. So I'm interested to see where it goes, and I do want to learn about this, but I just want to warn everybody that this is definitely a hard watch. It's kind of gross and sick. It's going to be 4 episodes. The second episode dropped last night. I didn't get a chance to watch it. We were watching the Golden Globes, but I don't know. The only other thing I will say about this is I hate to victim shame a little bit, but it's like Mia Farrow's in the doc quite a bit and interviewing, and it's like if you knew about this stuff, because she's like recalling some of these things, and I'm like, well, if you knew about it and didn't really act on it, and now you're doing something 40 years later or whatever, you're almost to blame as well. So I'm interested to see the path they go down with that and how Mia Farrow kind of turned a blind eye to a lot of it back in the day. We'll see. We'll see. So there's a lot of gross stuff that's coming up about Woody Allen, and but it's mostly focusing on Dylan Farrow and Mia Farrow and their interviews, other family friends. They do use Woody Allen. He did an audio book talking about his relationship with his kids and with Mia Farrow and things like that. So they kind of use excerpts from that in the, but he's not helping out in the doc. He wasn't interviewed for it or anything like that. But they do kind of draw some of his interviews or audio and use it when they need to. So it's well done so far. I mean, like I said, I'm intrigued. Just go in knowing that it's kind of gross, and you're gonna maybe uncover some gross things going forward. So, but Netflix? Maybe it's a good thing too to learn about how gross Woody Allen is. So no, this is HBO Max.
Oh, okay, I have that.
The HBO, yep.
Gotcha.
But tell me about your first take. You had a chance.
My first take is on Superman and Lois. It's just dropped episode 1 last week on the 23rd. On the old C-Dub, and it was a 2-hour premiere. The only reason we're going to be talking about here because it gave us 2 full hours. Coming into this, you guys, this is no secret. I'm the big Superman guy and hardcore, so I'm also pride myself as being a harsh Superman critic. So I was kind of like, I don't know. I just don't know what they're going to do here. I don't know if I trust Berlantiverse. I don't know which route they're going to take this. I didn't love the little tidbits that we got already through Supergirl and through the crossover. I was like, all right, I kind of like that. I'm not sure if I like Lois. We shall see. What they did was essentially the opening scene was him catching a green car with people in it. Car goes off a cliff. He catches the green car, has it over his head, puts it down, and then turns. He's got the OG suit on, like from the original. It looked exactly like the June 1938 comic cover. Right.
Okay.
So it's a complete throwback, humongous Easter egg. He even has the old suit, everything. So I was like, oh, well done. You have hooked my attention immediately. Just being a Superman dork, I was like, thank you. That is fantastic for that. All right, the show, they have twin boys. The twin boys are growing up in Metropolis. One of them is hardcore sport, athletic dude. The other one, goth, kind of into like metal, wearing all black, whatever. So 2 different boys. This is how they're dealing with life. They haven't told the kids yet that he's Superman because they don't want them to deal with knowing that and the pressures that come with. They have to go back to Smallville because the show does something that I've never seen before. They kill off Martha Kent.
Oh, okay.
We see Pac. You need it for the.
Wait a minute, does she stand up like this during a tornado?
Yeah, you hate that scene so much. Best scene in cinematic history.
I
do. We've always seen Pa Kent die, but here we see Ma Kent. But there is a reason for that because now it draws him back to Smallville. Draws him back to the farm. She wants him to come back to the farm and live his life there. It would be better for the kids. That's the crux of the story. Now they make the decision, do they live back at Smallville, raise a family there, go forward. Also, on a side note, do the boys have powers? The boys are starting to kind of like learn things. The one son's a stud football player. Does he have a power? So we'll get into this towards the end of the season. I'll tell you this, number one, I'm positive on it. I'm liking it. I like something new. They're giving it a little bit different. So hardest thing to do is Superman. Give you either a different tale or what you've already been told. What they're going to do here is give us something totally different. He has twin teenage boys. And then he did fight someone. He does fight a bad guy who kicks his butt a little bit. So we're going to learn. It ends on a cliffhanger of who this bad guy is because they're in a robotic suit. I'm in, man. I'm in. I really enjoyed it. I liked it a bunch.
Nice. I mean, I was a big Smallville guy back in the day, but I never got into the Dean Cain show. And this kind of looks like a melding of the two to some extent. Like you've got Lois there that we didn't really kind of like the relationship we didn't kind of get in Smallville, at least not fully. It's more like that is my take, know, but it does still look like Smallville. So I was kind of intrigued, but I didn't bother watching it. But I don't know. Roy touches on it on the Realm episode as well, and I think he's positive on it as well as you are. So yeah, maybe it's worth checking out.
He texted on the side saying, we talked a little bit about it. We like it. The other thing is Elizabeth Tulloch Lois. My wife came in and saw me watching. She was like, "Whoa, that's Lois." Ugh. And I was just like, I don't know. As the episode goes on, you're like, all right, I kind of like what she's doing with Lois. Emmanuel Creaky comes back, and she's Lana Lang. And
Hmm,
I know that you, I'm sure, as an Entourage fan, had an affinity for her in Entourage.
sure.
Let's just say she's 46 years old.
So what? She's still good. Still good.
I
I'll
was
take
just
it.
like, that's not the Entourage girl. Still looks fantastic. She does a great job acting too, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
But I was
Okay.
like, oh my gosh, that's the girl from Entourage. But I don't know. I'm intrigued. One thing, and we'll talk about this way later, maybe when the season's over. Remember when we had Supergirl just a year ago, 18 months ago, so that crossover, and then Superman left to then go have babies.
Yeah.
If you recall, they had to go off world to then have the
But now
babies.
these kids are like teenagers, right? So when does this take place? And that's what I was going to ask you too. Are we going to get any crossover potential with any of the other CW properties? Because I remember, didn't they end the show, the crossover event with John Diggle? So has he shown up, or are they going to have him show up? I guess in this.
Questions. I don't. We didn't
Yeah.
see him in episode one tomorrow night.
Okay.
I hope
Yeah.
so, and that'll give us down to he'll obviously do a Green Lantern route. But that was my big. I was like, time out. That just ended. Supergirl ended. That crossover event ended with them leaving to have the babies, and now here they are with teenagers.
Maybe it's
Uh,
like Wanda where they grow faster or whatever. Yeah, who knows? All right, cool, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I couldn't bring another show on. I'm behind on some other stuff, so
I
I
feel
didn't
you.
press play on it. But I look forward to your full review once it's over.
All right, Patreon. We mentioned it a minute ago. Patreon.com. Take Two Podcasts is as low as $1 a month. That's all you got to do. You can do a bunch of different tier levels. Part of those tier levels are telling us what to do,
Hmm.
literally. We've had a few folks do this. We even have one of our patrons, Chris, come on the show. You're welcome to do that as well if you so desire and discuss different topics of your choosing. One
Well, we
of
did it
our
with Shy as well. We did Shy,
Oh,
Shy
that's right.
talked
Shy
about
came on
cats.
too.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. But one of them, Vaughn, he is the OG God level patron. Uh,
Yeah.
Forced your hand and made you watch a movie.
Not necessarily. I feel bad because he hasn't forced our hand. He hasn't really asked much of us, and he's been one of our most faithful
Yeah,
and generous, patrons out there.
yeah,
Like you said, creating a whole new status just for him. So he and I, we're coworkers. So he and I were talking at work, and he mentioned a movie that he watched, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna jump on that. And I just kind of like left it at that. Like I'm gonna talk about this movie to let him know that I watched something that he recommended to me. And, even if it wasn't a new release, it was
very
something
nice.
he was, pumped about. So going all the way back to 1984. This is called Wheels on Meals, and this is a Jackie Chan film. So, not Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels is the organization that gives
Yeah,
food to. Yeah,
yeah.
this is Wheels on Meals. So this is
Okay.
Jackie Chan kind of before he became famous, really, especially to U.S. audiences. A lot of us here weren't familiar with his work until Rush Hour or whatever. I knew Rumble in the Bronx, which came out maybe a couple years before Rush Hour, and that's where I really liked him and was impressed with his stunts and things like that. But this is even before that. So 1984 Jackie Chan. It's him, Sammo Hung, and Yuen Biao, who they actually did a bunch of movies together, and they kind of have like a Three Stooges ish like vibe to their chemistry between the three of them, which is kind of fun. So it's kind of like the Asian, equivalent to that. I felt like so. It's kind of a fun movie, and it's good to see him in that kind of pre-famous to the U.S. world and see him a little younger. I will shout out the choreography, the stunts, of course, all that stuff is top notch and what you expect, and you are impressed by Jackie Chan.
Hmm.
However, the movie overall a little cheesy. It's on Prime right now. I watched it dubbed, so maybe that's part of the problem. Is the dubbing seemed a little cheesy to me? Maybe I don't know. I wrote down a couple lines. The brother played by Yuen Biao, he says, "Balls, we've got a flat," when they get a flat tire. I was like, "Balls? Really? That's where he's going? Balls, we've got a flat tire? Is that how people talk?" Uh, and then there's another scene where somebody like accidentally touches a woman's breasts, and she says, "Get your hands off my tits." And I was like, "What? Is that really the words that were in the original movie?" I don't know. Just a couple lines here or there. The dubbing just seemed
Gotcha.
really cheesy to me, and maybe that's just the dubbing. But whatever, man. It's an action comedy. It's these not brothers. I'm sorry, they're cousins. They own a food truck together, and then their other buddy is trying to be like a private investigator, and he's looking into this girl who's gone missing, and she's kind of like a pickpocket thief, whatever. And the girl, I wrote down her name here somewhere. I'm sorry. She also was in a couple movies with them. Lola Forner, who was a Miss Spain, Miss World, like one of these like models of the time. And
Yeah.
she actually was in a couple movies with them as well. So they kind of created their own little group of people that were in a bunch of movies together. Whatever, for free on Prime, and to see early Jackie Chan before anybody else was really familiar with him, and before he was famous, I thought it was kind of cool. Little cheesy, deal with that, but otherwise, whatever. It's not bad. Check it out. So just wanted to give the
Nice.
shout out to Vaughn and tell him that I watched his movie.
Rock on, Vaughn. Thanks, brother. Keep it coming. Tony's right. You do owe us like a forced film to watch. That's
Yeah.
crazy that Jackie Chan was 30 when he did that movie.
Yeah, and they filmed it in Barcelona, and they kind of I read a little up on it. It said like they filmed it there because of they just let them do whatever the hell they wanted. Like there's a bunch of car chase stuff in here and like crazy fight scenes and things like that, and like they were just spilling into the streets and they just didn't care. Just do whatever you want there. It was pretty easy. I will also say there was a little bit of like kind of racist stuff, especially like early on, where there's a lot of people like saying like the Chinese or Chinamen, like things like that, like in a very like negative connotation. I mean, it's the early '80s, and I guess they're supposed to be in a different country, whatever. So some of that stuff stuck out to me. I will say this was kind of a box office hit, $13 million in East Asia alone, just in Japan, South Korea, and Hong Kong. Um, what else did I have here? The car. There's a great car chase sequence, and their food truck. They're driving around their food truck during this car chase sequence, and all I can think of is it looked like the Ninja Turtles truck, like it looked like that yellow
Yeah.
truck from the Ninja Turtles cartoon. So
Okay.
Vaughn or whoever else is listening and has seen this movie, I want to know. And I couldn't find anywhere if that was like an inspiration like for the cartoon possibly because of this movie because it came out
Ah,
before the Ninja Turtles cartoon. So I was like maybe they had something to do with it. I thought that was kind of fun. So it did also have like a weird score to it. I wrote down because I think just the '80s stuff of this of it was kind of like weird. So it's kind of fun though if you're into that stuff. '80s, Asian kung fu movies with cool choreography and stuff. It's not bad, and it's more comedy than it is action.
I really want us to interview Eastman and Laird, and you ask them, hey,
Yes, did you guys watch Wheels on Meals and Steal the Truck?
that's where that concept came from.
Hmm.
Oh, geez. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break and then get this show rocking and rolling into the second act. Be right back. So, brother, I got the second vaccine last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Did it
so
knock you in your ass?
I got my second shot. No, so my arm hurt, like hurt, sore,
Mhm.
where I got the shot, and that lingered for about 2 full days. I never felt sick, but I felt like it was the day after you have the flu. Like you had the flu for
Okay,
3 days, and then that next day where you're not 100%, super tired, super
fair enough.
groggy. But so it wasn't that bad. But while I'm getting the shot, the lady, I can feel her pinching, and I'm not looking. I can't watch it happen, so I'm not looking. So she's like pinching the spot, and then I hear her say "oops," and I was like, "Wait, I don't want to hear "oops" right now." All right,
You stabbed
you're
yourself in the
stabbing,
finger?
yeah, literally. So I hear her say that there's an assistant like kind of hovering, watching nearby, and she's like, "Uh oh, here, let me help you." And I was like, what? I'm looking away, like, what is happening? What's happening to my arm right now? And then I feel it, and I swear she had to have goofed something up to the point where then she felt rushed. And instead of, I guess, just like starting from the top all over again,
She
legit,
stabbed
man,
you.
I was like, and like I reacted, and she was like, "Oh, you okay?" And I was like, "No," like that's so weird. It was she had to have jammed it in, and then I hear another lady come over and be like, "Oh, let me help you out since you broke that cap. Let me put something else." I was like, "Did I break the needle? What just happened here?" So. Not the
Superman stuff
a
right
must
there.
have. Yeah, exactly. All right. Fun tales from the crypt for me. All right, let's
There you
get
go.
rocking with trailer talk.
Yeah, we got three-ish trailers to talk about this week. Luca gave us a good first look here. We kind of got like a teaser before, but this was like our first full look at the movie. Pixar's new one coming out June 18th. I think it looks good. It looks solid. It looks like what we expect from Pixar. Looks like it should be kind of fun, funny, going to a different place, a little Italian flavor. I like it.
Agreed on all the words. It got me when they went into the water for the first time.
Yeah,
I was expecting the change, and I was just like, okay, this is gonna be fun.
yeah.
This is gonna be something a little different. Cool.
Yeah, they kind of finally gave that away. Like we didn't know what the movie was really going to be about to that extent until this trailer dropped. So yeah, it was kind of cool. Secondly, we got a better look at Army of the Dead. We've got some photos and stuff before, but this is a full-on like teaser trailer, I guess. Minute and a half. This is coming May 21st to Netflix. What do you think about this?
Is it only Netflix?
Yeah, I think so.
He's not even gonna try for theaters.
I don't think so. I think it's a Netflix movie. Yeah.
Oh, that
He'll
kind of
release it in like 4 years from now as like a
a
different
4 hour cut.
cut. It'll be
Funny.
4 hours of
Talk about it more
zombies.
later. Yeah, just stoke it.
I'm sure we will. It's every week until this comes out.
Just until April. What was I gonna say? Oh, Army of the Dead. Oh, I liked it. It looked great. It looked like a fun zombie movie. They try and make it look fun by giving you like zombie Elvis and things to that nature.
And then going at the machines, all the coins coming out and all
Yeah.
that.
And I think this is Batista's lane.
Yes, 100%.
Action film, badass fighting
Yes.
zombies.
Don't let him talk. Don't let him talk. Like, I mean, he's fine in Guardians, but that's because he's being so stiff. But when
Yeah.
he tried like that, what was that shitty movie we watched? Was that
With
on
the kid,
Prime?
the one with the
Yeah, that
kid.
was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was definitely more his lane, that action role for him.
Yeah. All right, May
And
21st.
he could be like the next Rock if he went and did things like this.
Sure.
Could create a nice niche for himself. And then lastly, I threw you MODOK, the new MODOK animated series, also May 21st, but this is coming to Hulu. What do you think about that?
I didn't even know. I didn't know anything about this. Did you know about this at all?
I remember us talking about it in the news that it was coming, that they had greenlit a couple Marvel cartoons for Hulu.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe they were going to fall by the wayside once Disney Plus came around, but I guess not.
Right. 10 eps, like you just said. So we'll be probably reviewing it and the other one on episode 241. It looked fun. It looked nifty.
It does.
It
looks kind of like R-rated-ish, and
yeah,
it reminds me of like Robot Chicken, like that show. The animation style and kind of spoofy, and that's kind of probably the most fun way to do MODOK. Like MODOK's hard to do. Like, why do you think they've never done him live action? Like that would just be ridiculous. He looks like a head floating on a toilet. Like it's kind of dumb. So I think this is a smart way to go with it.
The comedy looked kind of our lane too, just kind of like that the guy's getting the coffee and he accidentally gets his arm shut off and he was like, "I'm sorry, I thought this coffee was for everybody." I was like, "Oh, I'm all for smart one-liners like that." So I'm in. Could be good. Yeah. I've got Hulu.
Okay, yeah. So maybe we'll check that one out too and let you guys know. But that was it. I didn't really see any other trailers. A couple other things that really weren't worth talking about, I guess. So let's move on.
Yeah, you know what else you people should check out? That's other podcasts. Once you're done listening to ours and subscribing to ours, Tony has our PodRec of the week.
Yeah, first, I don't know what. For some reason lately, maybe it's just my schedule, whatever, I've been listening to a lot more podcasts, things like that. So I'm going to have some PodRecs for you. I got a couple others stored up in my back pocket here, too. So I'm going to dole them out a week at a time. This week, I want to tell you about one that actually came from listener Craig. Listener Craig threw me onto this one, and this is Mommy Doomsday. Mommy Doomsday is going to be 6 episodes. There's 4 out right now. It is from NBC News, actually, Dateline, and it's all about this really strange case of these kids that went missing in Idaho, and the mom kind of is in the midst of some kind of weird breakdown, going off the deep end, like thinking that the world is ending, and she has all these conspiracy theories and things like that. So they get into the mystery of these missing kids, and then there's some former, husband or boyfriend or things like that kind of turn up missing or dead, and all sorts of things that kind of unravel over these few episodes. I find it pretty intriguing. I will say I hate the narrator. The narrator is Keith Morrison from Dateline, and I feel like he has a very distinct voice, but I don't necessarily like it. That's my only down part of the show. But, it's an interesting story. It's going to be 6 episodes, so I'm in just to find out what happens with her, because I wasn't really familiar with the case before this, so... Just wanted to throw that out there, kind of like a true crime-y thing, Mommy Doomsday.
We are opposites. My schedule change has stopped me from listening to podcasts. I don't have drives anywhere. So I'm just like, I thought that I looked the other day, I was like, holy cow, I am way backed up. So I'm glad you will be carrying that mantle for us for a couple of weeks. Let's jump on over to our casting couch.
There you go. All right, I don't have a ton this week, to be honest.
Okay, I got a couple, so good.
Gillian Anderson. She is joining that First Lady series for Showtime as Eleanor Roosevelt, which to me sounds like terrible casting. Eleanor Roosevelt looks like my shoe, and Gillian Anderson is beautiful. We just saw her last night. Like, is this automatically going to be a nominee for like makeup now? Because they're going to have to put some serious makeup and prosthetics on her or what? So she's joining Viola Davis, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Judy Greer, who we've already announced on the show that are going to be on there. So
I want to add to that because I have Obama.
Well, it's Viola, isn't it?
No, Barack Obama.
Oh, he's going to be on there as well. Who would they cast for that?
O.T. Fabenle. I'm not familiar with him. When I saw his face, I was like, I know that guy.
Whatever his name is. I remember we first announced that his name was like O.T. Fagbangler or something like that.
Yeah. Let's go with the French, even if he's not French, the Fabanlay instead of
Robin, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But I saw the picture side by side, and again, he'll need a shave. He usually rocks the beard or whatever. But
Which is interesting because what's his name? Ben Kingsley Benadire. He did Obama in like a series like 2 years ago, and I was like, why not just get him? Try him out. He did a
no,
good job.
okay.
Or they already had some guy that did another Obama on like a Netflix movie as well. So
Aha.
just pick one and stick with it. I don't know.
Just do Obama. Get Obama.
So Spike Lee is doing a new show called Gordon Hemingway and the Realm of Cthulhu. And this is going to be on Netflix, and this takes place 1928 Ethiopia. So this is going to be like similar to Lovecraft Country, right? Like we saw Cthulhu in there, whatever, you know. So guess
Okay.
who they cast to be the star of the show, or who's in talks to be the star of the show?
Lovecraft Country people.
Jonathan Majors. I'm like, wait a minute, you just can't get away from fighting these monsters. So whatever. I love Jonathan Majors. I love Spike Lee. I'm in for this, so that's cool. I'll probably watch the hell out of this. So this is going to be coming to Netflix. New movie coming, the directorial debut of Oscar-winning screenwriter Graham Moore for Focus Features. It's called The Outfit. It's going to be starting shooting in March in London. Here's your cast. Mark Rylance, Dylan O'Brien, Zoe Deutsch. So those are all pretty good people that we like there. So, yeah, may have to look out for The Outfit once they finish that one down the road. I think that's it, though, as far as regular casting for me. I got some other things for DC and Marvel. We'll wait and talk about those later.
Yeah, I only have a couple more to add to those. Wash Me In is kind of a Wall Street style thriller. They've just added Willa Fitzgerald to their cast list of Bob De Niro, John Malkovich, and Jack Houston.
Whoa, okay.
Kind of a good list.
De Niro, Malkovich, you have me.
Yeah. Ozark season 4 has added Bruce Davison as a regular.
Now, who's Bruce Davison? Has he already been on the show?
Bruce Davison? No,
Yeah.
he. If you're not familiar, like he was the senator in X-Men, the very first one, who then turned into a blob or whatever.
Sure.
So he's been in Seinfeld. He's been in a bunch of things.
Okay, but hasn't been on the show before already. Okay.
I don't recall him from last year at all. No.
Okay.
Where we go? Oh, Anthony Mackie, Shailene Woodley, Jacob Lattimore have been added to the thriller Panopticon. That's all I got. Thriller film. I was like, oh, I like that cast list though. The ABC
That's a terrible title though.
Yeah, Panopticon.
Okay.
Panopticon. Panopticon.
Okay.
Right. Maybe it's Panopticon. Maybe it's like a Comic-Con, but it's I don't know.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah. The ABC series Rebel, which is starting up this fall, has Katie Seagal starring in it. We talked about her just a couple of minutes ago. Has added Abigail Spencer to that for all you Suits fans out there. Let's see. Time Traveler's Wife has been booked as an HBO series. They've added Theo James and Rose Leslie. The main reason I bring that up is I told the wife that, and she was like, "Oh, who's Rose Leslie?" And I dropped the "you know nothing, Jon Snow" on her.
Oh,
That was E-Grid. I was like, "Oh, I just doubled on that one." And then lastly, this is the best casting news I can give you, pal. The best. The Rugrats revival coming to Paramount Network.
Mm-hmm.
All the OG voice cast, baby.
Nice.
Dolores,
Okay.
Tommy, Billy, all of them.
I thought you were gonna say they were doing like a live action Rugrats, and that what's his name, MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, was gonna play Phil and Lil. Because that's what he looks like to me.
That is all the casting we've got. Now it's time for a little What's in the Glass?
That's you, buddy. All you. Tell me about your glass.
Lexington Brewing Company makes a bourbon barrel ale, and by golly, is it delicious. This was gifted to me by Roy from the Realm. I thank you, sir, for turning this on to me. He knows I enjoy the bourbon. It's good, man. It's 8%er. Goes down a little too smooth.
That's kind of high for you.
It's very high.
Big boy. Get your big boy pants on.
That was my one for the month. I'm good to go. I did have two the one night, and I felt it. Felt it pretty good. Lexington Brewing Company, fantastic. They make a different line of beverages as well, but I only had that bourbon barrel ale. It went down. Some of your bourbon barrel things, you can attest to this, come off a little strong, come off a little syrupy sometimes. I feel not this, man.
Yeah, you can either go like sweet or like rubbing alcohol. I feel like you got to get that nice balance in between.
Yeah, and the color, I was expecting darker, and it wasn't. It was a little lighter in the coloring when I was pouring into the old glass of roux. I really enjoyed it. It was really good, folks. Check that out any chance that you get.
Nice. Okay, cool.
I
saw they also reached out to you a little bit when you were DMing on the side with them. And
yeah, hello to them, and maybe we'll try.
Hey, send us some samples. Send us some new. We'll talk about them every week. I don't care. Sponsor the show.
That's yes to all those words, 100%.
There you go.
All right, that's done with that. We're going to take another quick break and be back with the third act and maybe the heaviest portion of our show coming up. What do you got there? What do you got there for you YouTube
This was
watchers? It's a
this
Tony
was a previous What's in the Glass, I think, Christmas pancakes.
I recall. I recall.
Yeah, I have two of these in the fridge still, and I was like, wait a minute, Christmas was like 2 months ago, so I better finish these off.
Wow. So for you heavy beer drinkers out there, that's like still leaving the lights on your house. Like, hey man.
And this is a 9.2 right here, so yeah.
Okay. That's why Tony
I
was
should have
talking.
brought the other one up because I do have two of them. I need to finish them both.
Aha. Okay.
Should
Golden
call
Globes,
the kids,
folks.
bring me a beer, kids.
Last night was the Golden Globes. I'm intrigued your take on the performances, the hosts, the presenters, if you will. There weren't really major presenters, but the presenters and everything that is and was of the Golden Globes. Wait, let me start before you give anything. For some weird reason, we've never really done this. I've done a lot of the live tweeting during award shows, but last night Tony took over, and I'm so glad that it exhausted you.
Oh, I
You
was
would think
going
it's
at it.
easy just to tweet out, "Hey, the winner of Best Picture is," but
Oh,
like when you put
I was trying to
thought,
do more than just that. I
right?
wanted to like give a little spin or give a little extra info, whatever. And I didn't do every single winner. Like I said, I was texting you on the side. Like I took the dog out, things like that a couple times. So I missed some stuff, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun doing that, and that's the first time I've like consistently done it for an entire broadcast. Like I was like, oh, okay, I actually did it. So I was kind of proud of myself.
Good job. It was
I do
good.
want to talk before we get into the Golden Globes about the Time's Up thing, and that kind of broke more after we recorded last week. We didn't get
Yes.
a chance to talk about it before the show this week. So it kind of came out before the show. HFPA, they have, 87 members or whatever, and none of them are black. And this was kind of made into a big deal. I think it also came out later that they haven't even had a black member since the 80s either. Like
Right.
it's been 30 plus years since they've had a black member. So it was kind of a big deal. And we had talked about it, I think, when the nominations came out. There were some definite snubs in there. Like, nobody from the cast of One Night in Miami was even, for acting.
Yeah.
Defy Blood's not nominated at all anywhere.
Right.
Even Ma Rainey's, like, besides Chadwick, like there was no other real love for Ma Rainey's. Like Viola Davis, gave one of the best performances of the year. So a lot of kind of snubbing that went on was also then like kind of put in of, okay, well this makes sense because there's no black members and whatever. So it was
Yeah.
a lot of the talk before the ceremony. And I know Spike Lee's kids were actually the like kids that were there helping out or whatever too. And I
Yeah.
noticed his son had like the Time's Up thing on as well. So I don't know, just wanted to put it out there. And that was a little bit of the focus of the show. I personally thought that they kind of bungled it, at least their response. They were like, oh, find me anybody who's not white to get on the stage. Oh, an Indian person? Like, okay, you come out and talk. Like,
Yeah.
they were just really trying to like backtrack. And you could see they were on their heels, basically like, oh, what do we do? So
Yeah.
hopefully it changes going forward. Hopefully this does bring up a good point for them, and a little more diversity will get in their ranks going forward. That would be nice. So
Sure.
yeah, just want to talk about that beforehand. Obviously we start off Faye and Polar. We should talk about them. I thought they did a great job.
Yeah. Can I add to the time?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, I did some research on it because it was concerning to me, and I was, with the 87 members, these are long-standing members. The qualifications to become a member of that are difficult and what have you. And everyone, the crazy part to me is that everyone from this foreign press are essentially based out of LA. That's kind of where they are. So the initial is these people are from France and Sweden and Germany. Well, that's white countries. So you're kind of like, all right, do I give them a pass for they're just from white countries? Well, they're kind of also based out of America. So the other one is once they get that standing, they don't let go. So it's kind of like, should we have term limits for these people? Like maybe this is where we should start talking about, having that. I thought it was weird, wrong word, but they come out and they talk about it, make jokes about it, and then your first three winners are black. So it's like, all right,
Yes.
did we do
It
the right
almost did
thing?
seem right,
Yeah.
like a response to that, didn't it? In a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, I was like, all right, are they trying to make up for it? I don't know, because all this stuff came out this week and the voting had to have been done by
Should have been
then.
already been done. Yeah, yeah.
So maybe they were doing the right thing and maybe they were on top to their coming out and making a statement. Yeah, it was just like someone wrote that 20 minutes before the show. They're like, oh crap, put this together. It'll take 10 seconds. Go say, hey, I love black people. Show me the money and get off stage. That part of it was bungled is the accurate word on there. I don't know how you change that though. How do you make more members into the Hollywood Foreign Press? It's a very exclusive group. So now you're telling me, oh, well, what are they, good old boys type thing? Well, yes is that answer. how do we change that? I think is the question that needs to be asked of them. The
And
Oscars had to do it.
we've already kind of like made fun of them in the past because you get these crazy nominations that come out every year, and it's like, oh well, that group of people just schmoozed them the right way and partied with them and paid for them, and that's the way the HFP has always been. And it's like, why do we really give credence to them as the first kind of big awards ceremony to set the pace for all the other ones? Like, why do we do that? Why do we take so much credence in what these AD people say? We really shouldn't. And Tina Fey even said, like, it's kind of a stupid thing that it's a self-congratulatory event, whatever. Like, why do we care so much and stress over it? But some diversity would be nice, and hearing some other voices and seeing more representation would be nice. But like you alluded to, they definitely did that tonight with the results. So, and I think a lot of it, I'll tell you what, this is probably one of the first times in years I didn't fill out a ballot beforehand. Usually I will kind of like fill it out and keep track. I just didn't. I totally forgot, and I was like, oh crap, the Globes. But I'm glad I didn't, because I would have done terrible. There were numerous awards that I was very surprised by, and part of that, like we were saying, was not what we thought would be the winners. But anyways, back to the breakdown of it. Faye and Polar, thought they were great. Thought it was cool that they were able to make it work being on different coasts. Even the split screen, at first I was like, oh, it looked like they were in the same room.
There was a
like
couple
the
of
way
times.
They shot it.
Yeah.
It lined up real nice.
Like,
and their timing was on. I don't know if it was like earpiece and they were kind of going off each other and listening, but there was maybe only one or two times where they flubbed it a little bit or kind of talked over each other a little bit. But otherwise, spot on. They did a great job. I thought they both looked great, too. I know we maybe shouldn't talk about that or objectify, whatever. But I thought they looked great. Thought they sounded great. They did a good job. They kept it moving. They did their little bits that they needed to do and kept it funny. And, that's the beauty of these like Zoom and virtual ceremonies so far. Everything is kept on track to a T. I mean, the show was over at like 11:01.
Yeah.
Whereas the Oscars will be like 11:47. We told you what Best Picture was, So
right.
I do love that, and it seems to be a good side effect of the virtual environment. We did have the one tech screw up kind of early on with Daniel Kaluuya, being the first winner. And
I felt bad. It was like the very first winner.
I was worried that we were in for like a long haul of like, oh, this is not a good omen. But then after that, they got their shit together, and it was good from there on. And speaking of Kaluuya winning, I think that helps him going into the Oscars. Gives him a little more momentum. I think he wasn't the expected winner, I don't think. For most people, I think it was a little bit of a surprise. So good on him for winning. I thought it was a little cringy. I put it on my tweet that Aaron Sorkin won for the screenplay, and then he's like, thanks to Regina King. And I was like, Regina King was not nominated for the screenplay, nor did she write it. Like, what are you talking about? Who are you thanking? I think he got it confused with the director race, and he was also nominated there against her.
Yeah.
I was like, you look like a schlub, dude, for saying that. So that sucked for him. But that was kind of a big takeaway of the night, though, was they really spread the love around. Chicago 7 got screenplay. Judas got an acting award. Borat got a couple awards. Nomadland got a couple awards. Everybody kind of got their little piece of the pie here. So that was interesting. Who else won? Something else won too. That was kind of like off the beaten path or whatever. So it really did like kind of spread it around a little bit.
Sure.
Like we said earlier, I was a little surprised by Andra Day winning. I think that definitely puts her in the Oscar race. She should be at least a nominee. You love the Bozeman minute there, the Bozeman's wife getting an award.
Yeah. For we've gotten these in the past where someone will accept for somebody else for whatever reasons. I was told when they put her on there, I was like, oh, you could tell she was already crying. So I was like, oh, this will be 5 seconds. So it was like, thank you very much. But then she winds up giving like this gorgeous speech, and everything she said was beautiful. I was like, wow, I just want to hug this lady. I'm bawling my eyes out. It was really nice. And his name, we're going to hear it for the rest of award season for sure.
And I think it's justified. I think he's great in the movie, so I'm all for it. Good win. It's not you get a lot of talk with Ledger. He only won because he was dead. I don't know if people are going to say that about this Bozeman. I think this was really his best role. That wasn't like him playing somebody else or whatever. Like it was a really good job with him. The Soul Sal thing was kind of funny.
What the heck?
What are you doing, Jason Morgan? How do you mispronounce soul? It's 4 letters.
Yeah. It's funny. I was singing his praises as he came out. I was like, oh, man, he's lost a couple pounds. He's looking pretty good. And he was like rolling through, and then he's mispronounced. But I love that on the Zoom after that, like Sudeikis and whomever.
Oh, they were,
they were destroying him. I was like, oh, look, all his SNL pals are now destroying him.
Did they say something about like what did they say, like a pizza, Sal's Pizza or whatever?
Sal's Pizza. It was like, did he come from Sal's Pizza?
Yeah, that was good. Speaking of Sudeikis, we talked about it a little bit earlier, the hoodie gang. He was able to dress up for the show.
He was not
Yeah,
expecting to whatsoever. He didn't know what words to say. It was like,
yeah.
Jason, say words. What do you? And even Don Cheadle was like, let's wrap it. Like, you don't know what to say right now. Let's get this over with.
I saw a tweet that said Sudeikis is the epitome of divorce right now. Like he looks like divorce,
Which is
which I
true
thought was
because
great.
he
I
just got
thought that was
divorced.
great.
That's true.
But also, we'll cut him a little slack. He's filming Ted Lasso, which is like 5 hours time difference.
True.
So I guess
True.
that makes sense. And he was just chilling in a hoodie, man. You got to give him respect. Show up to an award show with a hoodie on, and you won. It's like Jesus Christ, come on, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Like I said earlier, some other surprises besides Andrew Day. I was surprised to see Jodie Foster. Um,
She was as well in her pajamas.
and
Shocked within.
and, uh, and Rosamund Pike. So these are maybe this is like a recency bias thing with HFPA too. Like these are the most recent films to come out, really. Where
True.
Judas, I Care a Lot, Mauritanian, Billie Holiday, they all came out in February. Even
Yeah.
Nomadland is like a February release. Everything was pretty recency bias, really, to some extent, except for Borat. Borat won, and we got Sasha winning for that. I thought it was pretty classy, though, of Rosamund Pike to reach out to Maria Bakalova and talk about how she respected her performance.
Sure.
And a lot of people had her as kind of the favorite to win. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think her not winning here, though, will keep her out of the Oscars. I don't think we're going to see Bakalova at the Oscars. But maybe
True.
this will give Pike some momentum, and maybe she'll show up there. That would be cool because I didn't expect that, and I wonder about Foster now too. Is Foster going to be in the Oscar noms? Because I didn't have her predicted there, and we haven't
No.
even had a chance to see that movie or talk about it yet. So
True.
we'll see. It was great to see Chloe Zhao win. Get a female director winning finally, as well
Hmm.
as winning for Nomadland. She genuinely looked surprised especially with the Nomadland
For
win.
Nomadland.
She was
Yeah.
like, "Holy crap! Like I can't believe it
Right.
won."
Yeah.
So have you had a chance to catch up with it yet?
No.
The film?
Nope.
Oh, okay, it's on
I
Hulu. It's
I
on
was
Hulu. So
yeah, we were gonna do
yeah.
it the other night, but then I wanted to do Billie Holiday A for this and B just leading into the show or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
on the list. This week we'll probably knock her out.
I'm interested to hear your take because I mean I respect it. I think it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I just don't think it's like, oh my god, the best thing I've ever seen, best of the
Yeah,
year, whatever. So
gotcha.
we'll see. I loved Boyega getting an award for Red, White, and Blue. To me, that was the standout of small acts, and I feel like I was the only one saying that. So maybe
Yeah.
I belong in HFPA because obviously they agree with me. So
Ooh, sorry, you're too white. We're not going to be accepting your whiteness now. I
uh,
did think
you
of
know,
you, buddy. I was like, you know what? I've only heard one person of all the people
yes,
we listen to talk about small acts and talk about it as positively, and you champion him. So I will give you that
yes,
credit, sir. You have been on that train from the start. So congrats.
yes.
Boyega
You
should have
know,
thanked you.
yeah, he should have. TV side,
The
Schitt's
Crown.
Creek,
The
Queen's
Crown.
Gambit, The Crown.
The
Like
Crown.
it's what we expected. All those shows cleaned up as they should, I guess.
Acting ones, I think there's little surprises with the Crown winners.
And
I forget.
McCormick, or whatever his name is, right?
Yeah, I mean Anderson with the Crown winning, and then
Yeah,
the guy
Jack
winning.
O'Connor or something.
Yeah, I don't think he was totally expecting, especially with the names that he was up against winning. So I think those were little surprises. And this comes to me. We did this with Succession. I think 2 years in a row. You and I have done it, saying maybe we should. Well, this is me. I've never seen an episode of
And
The
The
Crown. Like,
Crown.
maybe I
Yeah,
should
no,
just
me
watch
either.
this crap because I've never seen it. But
Well, and it's funny because I feel like the wife started watching it, and I was like, I'm not going to jump on with you. And then she kind of gave up on it. But I feel like the last season, especially, is kind of like now piqued my interest. Like, as
mm,
you're getting into like Princess Diana, and now you got
yeah,
Olivia Colman on there, like, I'm more interested now. Gillian Anderson as Margaret Thatcher. I'm more interested to go back and backtrack. So, but who knows? Like Succession, will I ever start it? Probably not. The last thing I wrote down was Jane Fonda. Actually, I thought gave a good speech. I'm not usually a big Jane Fonda fan, but I thought she gave a good speech. Proved me wrong that her best performance is Monster-in-Law. After that whole clip, I was like, I still think Monster-in-Law is my favorite movie out of that whole thing that
sure.
she was in. And then I love the Norman Lear tribute, giving Norman Lear some, well due respect. I love that. I love watching that. So
Norman Lear was fantastic. He was also fantastic that he filmed it then. I thought for sure,
yeah,
since they were just going to his home, they would have just given a recorded thing. No, and he did a fantastic job. B, I'm going to come back to sentences that you stopped yourself from saying because of the world we live in. But A, for 83 years old, Jane Fonda, oh my God, she
she's
looks
got those aerobics videos, dude. She's doing some stuff.
incredible, absolutely incredible. And everyone across the board, you've said this a lot, and I echo it. In Hollywood, once you're 40 years old as a woman, you're done. And that has pretty much been the staple, right? Or at that
Sad,
point,
yeah.
you need to take 10 years off and then come back and play the grandma roles. That's like always been Hollywood shtick. We've been getting away from that. Now that we live in a society that isn't
Live in a
over-sexualizing
society. Do it
women.
right.
Right. We live in a society that's not over-sexualizing women, or at least we're trying to get there, and we're trying to at least recognize that. Can we now also recognize these women over 40 that still look amazing, are amazing, perform amazingly, and still give them prominent roles? Because how many women did we get? Olivia Colman on there, Jodie Foster. I mean, Jane Fonda's 83, so, but Gillian Anderson. And I was just thinking 40 plus, 40 plus, 40 plus. Like, can we just now be done with that too? Because these women,
Aaliyah said it best. Age ain't nothing but a number. Start
yeah,
writing these women better roles, man,
yes,
because they don't need to just be the wife that's left to the side. They don't need to just be the grandma, whatever.
right.
I mean, Rosamund Pike gave a fantastic performance. Like, look at some of these performances, and these aren't spring chickens. These are older women, and I love it. Glenn Close, she got some nominations for her. I thought that was kind of funny where the one clip package where they did, and she said something about being 70, and she's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah,
No, I'm
yeah.
45 or whatever.
Screw you, Anya Taylor-Joy. This was the old ladies award show last
Yeah.
night. Although I was very happy that Anya won. I thought she did a good job. Except, lady, get a hair clip. She looked like the bad guy from Captain Planet who had half
Yeah,
the
like
hair covering her
yeah,
face.
yeah.
I was like, lady, just get like a scrunchie or something. But
Yeah.
that was good. To that. All right, so segue to the bits that we had. I liked the doctor bit where they had actual doctors prescribing them things for their ailments, where celebrities were
Oh yeah,
calling
yeah.
them. I
Yeah,
thought
that
that
was
was
kind of fun. It was fun. Yeah.
I saw some people poo-pooing it because we're bothering
Yes.
doctors. I was like, we need to have fun in this pandemic.
Almost every other like award show or things like this have done something like that. So whatever.
I liked that. The other thing I was thinking, and I was talking to my sister about it, I was like, I love that we live in a world where the guy from Hang Time, Saturday morning show, and then also from All That, Anthony Anderson and what's his name, and
Keenan.
Keenan, I was like, are now just like huge celebs. I was like, I remember watching them,
Yeah.
30 years
Yeah.
ago on these stupid little shows. Now to Keenan and Maya, what were your thoughts on that? What the hell
It
happened?
was it was like a typical SNL sketch,
It
like near the
was
end of the show, where it went a little too long and just wasn't really that funny.
the crown,
Uh,
the crown, the crown. You know it.
A couple other big shout outs for me. I'm glad to see Soul win. I'm hoping that
Yeah,
means it solidifies it. Like I know there's still a lot of people who are like, well, Wolfwalkers, well, this, whatever. Soul should be the front runner going in, as well as winning the score. Awesome to see Trent, and they gave some love to John Baptiste also, which I thought was great. Minari. I forgot to mention this.
mhm.
Winning foreign language film. I think this solidifies this movie to be a Best Picture nominee. That's where I'm going to go. I want it to be a Best Picture nominee. I feel like this has gone down this road before. It can't be a foreign language film for the Oscars because it's a U.S. created film. Like that's part of their thing, so they will not put
Sure.
it in that category. So I think it has to be a Best Picture nominee. And some other movies like this have been forgotten and overlooked in the years past, like Farewell, things like that. So I'm hoping Minari cracks that. Going back to the Norman Lear thing, I tweeted it out. He in his thing he mentioned that he had kids that were 26 to 74.
Good for you,
What?
Norman. Good
That's
for you,
insane.
Norman.
Uh, yeah, I mean, you already talked about Anya Taylor-Joy. That was good.
Yeah.
Barb and Star. Barb and Star visited the Golden Globes. What do you think about that? That was good.
I feel anyone who has seen the film loved it. Anyone who hasn't seen the film was like, what the crap is
What?
this?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. But I guess that's it. I don't know if I had anything else written down, anything else that really stuck out to me. But overall, good night. They spread the love. They surprised us with some of the wins, and it was a decent show. What more can you ask for?
I just want to circle back to how we started our show. Folks, please, wear your masks. Let's get, because nothing will beat the in-person of it. I think they did what they could do. It wasn't as
Yeah.
great, but they
But I
did
missed the drunken party, right?
100%. Especially every
Yeah.
time they put Olivia Colman on screen. I was like, oh, I want her to accept. But is she drunk at home right now? Probably not. I want her at the party giving big acceptance speeches. So yeah, as well as they could with the tech and the Zoom and what have you. What else are you gonna do?
Yeah. That's it. All right.
We are going to now move on to the Hollywood news.
Let's start off with a little bit of box office news, kind of, because New York this week announced they're reopening theaters March 5th with 25% capacity. That's huge. New York theaters have been closed for an entire year.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal for them. As well as I want to touch on the fact that this week the #1 movie was Tom and Jerry,
Whoa.
13.7 million in the box office in one weekend. The only other movie that's done that well since the pandemic started was Wonder Woman. It's amazing. I'm very impressed with that. 2,500 theaters. I think 42% of all U.S. theaters have been reopened at this point. and that's even with reduced capacity in those theaters. So
Yeah,
we're still nowhere near what we could be at. And for this movie to do 13 plus, almost 14 million, that's impressive. That's
sure.
impressive. So it made another 25 overseas in 33 different countries. So it's at 38.8 worldwide on a $79 million budget. That's a good job, man. They did a good job with this movie. You know, say what you will about your review, and I've seen a lot of people kind of shitting on it, but
Yeah.
it made some money and it's doing a good job. And Warner Brothers, again, Warner Brothers has a really good idea here. And a lot of people are like, why are they giving their movies away for free on HBO Max? But they're really not, because Wonder Woman was top at the box office. Little Things did really good at the box office. Tom and Jerry now has done good at the box office.
Yeah.
Hit after hit. Even Judas did okay at the box office. So
Sure.
like a 10 million plus weekend. So they got something special going on there with this whole idea they got of we'll show it at home and in the theater. I think it's really working for them more than anybody right now. So kudos to Warner Brothers. Let's see. Some other big news of the week. Paramount Plus came out with a lot of news. They said that they're going to be releasing a lot of their movies to streaming after a 45-day window, shortening that window. Mission Impossible 7, Quiet Place 2, some of their big ones that are coming out are going to be part of that. So similar to a deal that was struck earlier in the year with before, who was that? It wasn't Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers was doing it at home. Somebody else with AMC had cut a deal
Let's
similar.
just say it was with AMC.
Sony, maybe? Was it Sony?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Maybe.
It was definitely
So,
with AMC.
We're seeing these similar deals now come ahead where it's like we're shortening that at-home window, or we're doing this at the same time, at home. And I love it. It's a response to the pandemic, but I think it's also a good thing moving forward because you're still able to get this money. Tom and Jerry's still making that money. Shows that theaters aren't dead. We're coming back, and we're going to be going to the theaters very soon. So, but in that news conference that they gave, they also announced a Beavis and Butthead movie, which we knew they were going to do a show, but I guess they're doing a movie as well. A Workaholics movie is coming. We're doing a Trevor Noah weekly show on Paramount Plus. That's going to be 6 episodes. Amy Schumer is coming back to do Inside Amy Schumer as a 5-time special. She hasn't done the show in 6 years, so it's kind of a big deal for her to come back. Also, Reno 911 is doing a new special called Hunt for QAnon, so that should be fun.
Okay.
They're doing a Pet Sematary prequel movie, which will debut on Paramount Plus, as well as the next Paranormal Activity movie in March of 2022 with the writer from Happy Death Day. That's going to be coming to Paramount Plus. On the Nickelodeon side, Roy touched on it on the Realm episode, but they're expanding their Avatar universe with the actual creators of Avatar. They've created Avatar Studios as part of Nickelodeon. So they're going to do all sorts of new things. An animated theatrical film is coming already next year. So that's going to be something else you're going to see really expand. And good on them. Good on Nickelodeon for continuing to grow. Let's see. What else did I add? Something else that was kind of big, I thought. Well... We had a couple other things. Live-action Twisted Metal series is coming from the writers of Deadpool and Zombieland. So this is another thing. We've talked about it before. It seems like the superhero genre is kind of dying out a little bit to some extent, and now the video game movie has really taken off. It seems like there's a lot of video game properties coming forward. And this is going to be a Sony TV project, actually. This is an old PlayStation game. I don't know if you ever played it.
I just remember it, actually, yeah.
I'm wondering if this is going to go to HBO because we already have Last of Us going to HBO. This is another Sony PlayStation kind of thing, so maybe that'll go there as well. But it makes me wonder, like, when is the Sony streaming app service? When's that going to come? So that's probably going to be the next chair to come to the table. George Clooney is producing an Ohio State sex abuse scandal documentary. With Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated was kind of the ones who broke that story wide open. We'll see. No news on where that's going yet, but that should be interesting. Wesley Snipes, he's kind of mad that he's not involved in the new Blade movie, I think. So he is making, when he's calling a Blade Killer, a new movie that he's working on. It's going to be an action movie with shapeshifters and time travel and whatnot. So, yeah. I think Blade will probably still end up being a better movie than whatever Wesley Snipes is cooking up.
Sure.
What about you?
Kind of a bummer that he's not involved in any capacity.
Like I said, why not bring him on and make him Whistler? Make him Whistler to Mahershala. I think that would have been cool the passing of the torch, if you will.
I wonder if Wesley said no to that.
Yeah, or if it wasn't even, it might not have been an option,
Sure.
David Fincher is reuniting with the writer Andrew Kevin Walker, who wrote Seven, and they're going to do a new movie on Netflix called The Killer, and it's based on a series of graphic novels. And apparently Michael Fassbender is in talks to star in it, but nothing official there. So that would be cool.
Yeah, it's
I
about
like
an
all those reports.
assassin, and I wrote
Yeah,
down assassin and Fassbender all like together. I was like, I just wrote the word ass
Assassin,
like 9 times, like like
Fassassassin.
fast ass bender. Yeah,
Oh, I forgot to mention earlier too in the Paramount news, Frasier. We're getting the relight. That's
that's
definitely
official. Yeah.
greenlit. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. So more tossed salad and scrambled eggs for you guys. Um, Terminator anime series is coming to Netflix with writer Mattson Tomlin, who is writing currently for the Batman movie, and he also wrote for Project Power on Netflix. I love Terminator, man. That's cool. Let's give me if you can get Arnold to do the voice,
That'd be
that's the
great.
big thing, or somebody who could do a good Arnold impression at least. That'd be amazing.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm all in on that. Neil Blomkamp also has confirmed this week that he is writing a sequel to District 9, District 10, he calls it. So
All right.
we'll see. See if that finally comes to fruition. I mean, that movie came out, what, 13 years ago? Wasn't it like 2008?
I like that movie too. I thought it was a
It's
good one.
really good. Yeah, it's Best Picture nominee. Shit.
Sure. Sure.
I think
Only
that's
ones
all
I
for
had.
news. Yeah.
All I had that you did not cover. Right now, the movie Grease is under fire for being too rapey. People want it banned. Get rid of Grease.
Tell
Yep.
me more. Tell me more.
I read that after reading that Jeep is no longer going to have their Jeep Cherokee out because,
Oh, really?
yeah, they
They're
can't
getting
have
rid of that?
the Cherokee name. Um, but
Gotta get rid of
so
everything.
look for more
Okay.
of that. And then Bridgerton, apparently they have 8 seasons planned out.
Whoa. Yeah, I know it's a series of books, and like
Right.
each book focuses on like a different character's point of view, right?
And that's kind of the route they're trying to go. So,
Eight
I mean,
though?
it's
Wow.
popular now. If they can book it, we'll see how they go. I don't know.
I
I
don't know
wonder
if it'll
since you're
last that
doing,
long.
if it's doing like different characters, can you run them simultaneously? If it's,
Yeah, that's interesting to see how long they can do that to that level of a success. We'll see.
yeah. And then the last thing, a little TMZ, Take Two TMZ. The crazy story of the week was Lady Gaga's dogs stolen.
Yeah, crazy.
I thought the craziest part of the story was that every headline, Lady Gaga's dog stolen, $500,000 reward. By the way, the walker was shot 4 times in the chest.
Yeah,
How
we
is
don't
it?
care about that part. We don't
Who
care about
cares
that
about
part.
the guy
Just
that got
Gaga's
shot four
dogs.
times in the chest over these dogs? I did see. Did you see how mad people were? She offered up 500 grand.
No.
Oh, like you could feed a small country with that. How much? That much money could do this. That much.
Got
It's
him
like,
back, right? She got the dogs back too
yeah, it's
already.
like she has the money. Let her, and she loves her dog. And then people were mad because they were purebred. Maybe we shouldn't put an emphasis on purebred dogs as much as we do. Okay.
Adopt, don't shop.
Yeah,
Side
exactly.
note, Lady Gaga has her own Oreos, and they're very good. They're a banger. So,
Really?
uh, yeah, Star is born on those cookies for sure. So,
We opened up talking about Tony's workout, and now we're just shifting it to the cookies.
yes, cookies and beer. That's my life.
That that is wrapping up the Hollywood news. Now it's time to discuss some DC.
Okay, before you get into your Snyder cut, whatever card garbage, Blue
What
Beetle
Snyder
movie.
cut do we have to talk about?
I don't know. You probably have something. Jack Snyder
I
said that he
actually
took a
do. I
swig.
actually do have some Snyder
Um,
to talk about.
all right. So, anyways, Blue Beetle. We've talked about the Blue Beetle movie or Booster Gold movie. We've talked about these. I mean, I feel like since the show started, we've had rumors about this. Um, so they are doing it. They have hired a director, Angel Manuel Soto, who directed Charm City Kings, which we both gave a pretty good review to earlier this year. So
Right.
he is going to be directing it. They're doing the Jamie Reyes version of Blue Beetle. So this will actually be the first live action Latino superhero. So I think that's another reason they want to like get it going, and you
Sure.
know they can beat Marvel. I think there is somewhat still a game between Marvel and DC, so they can kind of beat them to the punch here.
Believe it or not, there still is a competition there. Yeah.
There is. Let's see. I do have a couple other DC things. Look at this. I'm going to let you tell the one though, because I know you're amped about it. But
Okay.
did you see? You watched the Superman and Lois thing? Did you see that they did like an Arrowverse special? I think that was on like after it.
I
Did
didn't
you
watch
watch
it. I
it?
saw that they had
Okay.
done it. I didn't watch it though. Yeah.
So apparently it was like a 30-minute special, and just kind of like we're going over the Arrowverse, whatever.
Ah.
They show a Crisis on Infinite Earth scene, and they edited out Ruby Rose from it.
Oh really? Oh
Ooh.
really? Why?
Yeah, that's a little bit of tea right there for you. So I thought that was kind of cool or interesting.
But why
I guess
use?
they're just trying to erase her character. I don't know. I haven't watched the new Batwoman, so I don't know what they're really doing there.
But on the new Batwoman, the whole crux of it is that they're
She
not
took over
erasing.
for the old
Yeah,
character.
yeah. Like Ruby Rose existed on that show still.
They edited her out. You can look up the photos. It's like they literally took her character out, and then I think it's like the end of the. It's like a photo of all of them, and Diggle's on the end, and then Ruby Rose, and they took out her and then like moved Diggle over. It's really funny, man. Yeah.
Man, there's some dirt in there that we may never
There
find out
is.
about. That's a bummer for her, but
All right, so let me shut up. Let me
oh,
let you do the J.J. Abrams news here.
okay, so not Green Lantern. We're not talking that yet. We're not. No, all right, we will go to that. We will go to the Superman. Apparently, J.J. Abrams is producing. Key there, folks, because a lot of folks were fired
Producing.
up thinking he was directing. Not yet. He might. Not yet. He
Yeah,
might. Not that that's the worst thing in the world, as some
he's
folks.
been talking about being involved with Superman for a while, anyways.
Long time.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Ta-Nehisi Coates is going to be writing this. This is they use the word reboot, which is I think what got them in trouble, and that's what's going to get you in trouble and get all the fanboys to come out of the woodwork there. But either way, they're giving us a new live action film is going to introduce us to a black Superman. Ta-Nehisi Coates, probably the most perfect writer for that, or one of them. He's a Baltimore boy. He went to Howard. I've read, a lot of his political stuff, and it is about, progression and everyone being equal and equality. Good stuff, man. These are all the right words that they're going to do. I think if this goes the Val Zod character route or the Calvin
Okay.
Ellis character, which are both already in the comics, established black Supermen in the comics, they're from Earth 2 or alternate universe, this could be amazing. This could be a lot of fun. It could
Yeah.
be really cool. I'm all on board. If that's the route they're
Okay.
going, that's fantastic. Do it, man. Do it up. That's great.
So first question everybody's talking about on the internet, casting. Do you have any castings?
I would love Aldous Hodge.
Okay, but he's already doing Black Adam, right?
Hawkman. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Hawkman, right? Yeah.
I think
Stay away from Michael B. I just feel like Michael B's done so
yeah.
much.
Yeah, true. He's already a pretty well known face, right?
True.
I like Kelvin Harrison Jr. He was in Waves. He's been in a couple things. He's not like super well known to the general public, and I think he's a
Okay.
really good actor. He's in Loose, another good movie. I could see him doing it. The only question with him is he's a little short. He's like 5'7", 5'8", something like that. So
Okay.
you might want somebody a little taller. But yeah, I'm all for the discussion. The only
Yeah.
question this also brings up is Cavill done now? Like, are we going to do the Batman route and have multiple Batmans, multiple Supermans?
Right.
Or is Cavill done? Is he really going to
Yeah.
come back? Also, with the Snyderverse DCEU thing, maybe being rejuvenated by the Snyder Cut, does this also end that momentum or what? Those are all questions that need to be asked now.
Yeah. And I mean, Cabell, the very same day this came out, he put up an Instagram picture teasing that he has a new project and put up a script. In the script, it's all blurry, but one word literally does look like the word Smallville on it. So then people are like, oh, is this his way of teasing Man of Steel 2? Add to that, Zack Snyder was interviewed over the weekend for an IGN FanFest thing. And he said that Snyderverse, this is the only Snyderverse thing I have, ends on, or Snyderverse, Snyder Cut, ends on a cliffhanger. So the movie is going to end on a cliffhanger.
I
So
do like that. I do like the cliffhanger. That's fine.
that's my question to you. You have been anti this from the start for the obvious reason, and you're not wrong. This is the part I agree with you with, is what does this do for us going forward? So now
Yeah.
if you know that maybe we do get to continue going forward, because we know Wonder Woman's getting another one, Aquaman's getting another one, we got some Aquaman news in a second.
That
Shazam's
stupid
supposed to be.
Flash movie. Yeah.
So they're all getting theirs. If we find out we get a Man of Steel 2, I mean, I'd be all for it. You give me the Man of Steel 2, which I've been pining for years, and then this other, Earth 2 with Val Zod. Like, now we're having fun. If Batman can be on the
Or
screen
just give
9
me that
times,
Batman movie that I want. Damn it! I want
do
the
that
Ben
too.
Affleck Batman movie. Yeah.
That's fine
Um,
too.
I'm okay with if Zack Snyder does something actually special with this movie, and it is different than what we
Sure.
saw, and if it can rejuvenate enough interest to where you leave a cliffhanger and you leave a lot of doors open, then why not pick it up and go with it? You really could.
Sure.
So, but that's where I'm at. But I am trepidatious going in that I don't think I'm going to like it. But whatever, we will see in a couple weeks.
That we shall see. No, I mentioned Aquaman 2. Amber Heard is out.
I saw that. I saw some rumblings of it. Was that confirmed? She's
I
been
saw
okay.
rumor confirmed. I don't
Okay.
know. As of now, she's out. The heavy rumor to replace her, Amelia Clark.
Whatever. It works. It doesn't
Sure.
really matter. I don't care about the character. I think it can easily be written out. It doesn't even need to be in the movie for all I care.
Green Lantern Corps series coming to HBO Max starts production May 12th.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we should have casting news soon, I would think.
And with the Snyder cut, the heavy rumor, we're going to get a secret person whom we haven't seen before, apparently. And I mean, the obvious rumor there is Green Lantern. So maybe this feeds you right into it. And
Well, or I heard just Martian Manhunter. Like we didn't see the actual change to Martian Manhunter, but I heard that we might get that in the because they
Yeah,
already introduced that general character,
Generous wants to, yeah,
and then
yeah,
he'll become. So maybe we're gonna get that in there as well.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a little more intrigued the closer we're getting to it with these little tidbits that are coming out. So we'll see.
And
Um,
then
there,
Shazam 2. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
no, I was gonna say also with the HBO stuff, I saw something about the Constantine, and I think Roy touched on it on Realm that they're recasting the Constantine role for that officially. Like that hadn't been
Sweet.
officially out there yet. I was kind of hoping that they would keep the guy that we had, but whatever.
Valid, valid. They did cast Rachel Ziegler to be in Shazam 2. I'm not familiar with
Okay,
her too much, but they are adding to
it
that, which,
sounds familiar. Hmm.
yeah. And that's it. You mentioned the Blue Beetle, which I love. I hope that happens because that's a fun character that they
Well,
get
and
done.
it'll have to be Booster Gold as well, right? I would
They're
assume.
1 and 1A. They're like always
Um,
together. Sure.
but I saw also speculation about Blue Beetle has been known to be in like cahoots with Peacemaker and hang out with Peacemaker, I guess, in the comics. So maybe that will be a way into this. Maybe they'll introduce in Peacemaker or something.
Yeah. It wasn't he rumored for Suicide Squad,
And
the new one?
that's maybe, yeah. So maybe those characters will be showing up sooner than we thought.
Yeah. Okay. There it is. There it is. A lot of things I think in the positive with DC. At least, we had like a moratorium on DC for months where it was like nothing, maybes. At least we got
Yeah,
movement. At least we got
true.
movement, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. All
That's
right, you
it.
ready to go Marvel Minute?
Yes, sir.
All right, Cleveland native Catherine Hahn. I just want to throw that out there. Cleveland native Catherine Hahn. She
Is
has a
that how we
number
have to
one.
tweet from now? We have to tweet
She
that
has a
from now
number
on?
one single on her hand. Did you know that?
No. Really?
Agatha All
Oh,
Along.
Agatha all
It's
the way?
number one.
All
It's
along? Excuse
number
me?
one on iTunes on the soundtrack song chart, as well as number five just on the top 100 singles. Agatha All Along is number five on the top 100 singles. That's insane to me. So, so she does sing in there. So yeah, congratulations, Catherine Hahn. Just want to throw that out there.
It's
We
stuck in
talked
my
about
head for two
Blade.
weeks. That's for sure.
Uh,
It's been stuck in my head for 2 weeks. I keep
oh,
singing
it
it.
still is. Yeah, every
I
day. Still.
actually keep walking up like randomly to the wife, like she'll be sitting there, and I'll just like walk up to her and be like, "Hey, it was Agatha all along," and then just
It
walk away.
was. It was.
She's
Yeah.
just like, "Shut the
But
fuck up."
who's paying to download that though?
That's true.
Like,
That's true.
that's weird to me that it would be so high on the charts. All right, we talked a little bit about Blade earlier. It's officially going to be a PG-13, according to Feige. Feige went on this TCA panel, gave a lot of information. He said besides Deadpool, Deadpool's the only one we're going R because it was already like established as an R. But
Yeah.
Blade, we want to try and aim for PG-13. We'll see.
Cool.
We'll see. I don't know. I like the Wesley Snipes, like hard, kind of violent R, and he was always dropping some F bombs and stuff.
Well, I was gonna say, if you just take the language out, would the Wesley Snipes version be PG-13?
There's a lot of blood too, though. A lot of
Okay.
blood in those. So, I mean, motherfuckers always try to be ice skating uphill. So, um, he also confirmed that some of the Disney Plus shows are going to get multiple seasons. He didn't really specify which ones, I don't think, but some of those are going to be, multiple season shows. I could see that. I could see something like Falcon Winter Soldier could
Yes.
easily be a multiple season.
Sure.
Wanda, we'll see what happens this week, how that wraps up. But I mean, I was assuming that would be a one-off.
Same.
But maybe some of the other shows with your lesser-known characters, like Moon Knight, She-Hulk, those could easily be multiple seasons, especially if they're going to keep them to the shows only. Like, I don't know if they're going to go theatrical or not, So maybe those could be multiple season shows and just keep them as shows. So, speaking of Moon Knight, that is starting production next month.
Mm-hmm.
And we also got a release date for Loki. The Loki show is coming in June 11th. So we're getting Wanda's ending this week.
Boop.
Right after that, we get Falcon Winter Soldier.
Boop.
Then you get Black Widow. Then you get Loki. You got Shang-Chi. You got Eternals. All this stuff is coming for Marvel finally this year. So I'm really looking forward to all of it. Lastly, the rumor around for Marvel, this is kind of weird, but supposedly the Big Hero 6 characters could be coming to the MCU.
Yeah. Why? That's weird.
I don't know. And there's been some speculation about it. Like, would it just be like one of these multiverse shows where they kind of pop in and it would be like, oh, cute, like cameo? But I don't know if I really even like that. Like, I don't know if we need to do that.
I'd have to rewatch it to see if there's any connectability of the two.
I
don't
didn't
think
like
so.
that movie. I don't know if that's a hot take. I really didn't like it. I fell asleep multiple times. I just didn't think it was that good.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to be like, focus your efforts on getting the mutants into the MCU right now. Don't give me
Yes.
Baymax.
I'd rather see a fake Pietro show than
Pietro?
Yeah, I'd rather see Pietro get his own show.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I had though for Marvel. You have anything else?
The only other one I had was Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Oh, that's right. Was that this week? We still.
It was this week, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. What a long week then.
it was Spider-Man Home Slice, Spider-Man Phone Home, Spider-Man Home Wrecker. I
Yeah.
did enjoy them having fun with dropping the title of it and the
I
three
did.
actors being involved.
Yeah. I did. I didn't like some of the discourse around it though bothered me. Like
Mhm.
some news people or certain podcasters, things like that, were kind of like bitching about it,
Oh,
and it's like you don't have to be the first one to get it out there. It's like, oh, this is the title. Like they were kind of like not liking. They saw it as like a troll job, whatever. But it's like it was
oh,
kind of fun. I think it was fun. And
oh.
did you really think Home Slice or Phone Home were going to be the title? I didn't. I mean,
Wanted to be
that's
Home Wrecker.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So No Way Home, it works for me. Whatever, it's makes sense with where we left it, where he's possibly on the run, and it keeps up with the home title being in all the
sure.
Spider-Man movies. So yeah, I like it. I'm good.
The only thing that made me mad is I wrote Home Slice Slyce, which is
Oh,
how the pizza place spells it.
oh, okay,
Which I'm a fat ass. I like pizza. I just get pizza.
okay,
I wrote it as that place instead of spelling it
interesting.
accurately. That is going to wrap up the Marvel Minute. Let's get out of here. Time to go
That's
forward.
everything. That is everything. Going forward this week, we've got a couple things. Flash returns to CW on March 3rd. There is a new true crime show on Netflix this week, so I'll probably watch it. It's called Murder Among the Mormons, which also I love anything that discourages any Mormon activity because I don't like that religion. Sorry.
Hot take.
Let's see. This Friday, we're also getting Coming to America on Amazon
So
Prime.
sweet.
Boss Level, which I've been looking forward to, is coming to Hulu. Raya and the Last Dragon will be $30 or whatever, but it's going to be on Disney Plus. Maybe we'll watch that before next. I don't know. I'm still on the
Yeah.
fence as whether I want to pay for it. We'll see.
Boy.
Chaos Walking, which was a movie that was made like 2 or 3 years ago, finally going to be in theaters. I didn't think that was actually going to happen with Daisy Ridley, Tom Holland, Cynthia
Yeah.
Erivo, a bunch of people are there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's coming out finally. The WandaVision finale this week, so we'll have another big thing to talk about there. And you talked about on trailers last week only, the Biggie documentary is coming out March 1st, today, actually, as we're recording.
Cool.
So maybe we'll catch up with that. So Biggie, we got Murder Among the Mormons, we got Flash, we got Coming to America, Boss Level, Raya, so many things. Wanda finale, especially, is going to be a big point next week. So I think next week's show is going to be even bigger than today.
Boom. Thank you, folks, for listening to each and every one of these shows. While you're doing that, jump onto our socials at Take Two Podcast for Twitter, Facebook page, both the group page and then our regular Facebook. Join both of those today. Follow our Instagram as well because we're posting everything daily, all sorts of updates to keep you guys posted on throughout the week. On Thursday, that's where you get your new poll drop. That's across all of our socials, so you can vote on the poll, share it to your friends, let them know about it. This weekend, you're getting a brand new Take Two Spotlight. Going to be on a gentleman that lost last night
Yeah.
in the Golden Globes.
He's definitely a gentleman, though. He's definitely a gentleman, and he's going to be nominated again. So
This is true. Very valid. We hope you guys enjoyed that, and you can go back and binge all of your Take Two podcast stuff as well as join our Patreon today. It's only $1 a month. You get all sorts of bonus content. You get a new episode actually coming this week, which I didn't even tell Tony about. That's news to him. Well, that's right. So good, fun stuff, Take Two podcast wise. Again, ratings and reviews, we greatly appreciate them. Hit us up on all of the socials. Let us know you guys are listening, what you're enjoying, and what you're not enjoying even more so. And 434-602-1931. You can text or leave a voicemail on said hotline. I think that's it.
yeah. Yeah, I think so too. But definitely let us know, reach out, let us know what you think about the YouTube, if you guys like it, you want to keep us going with it. The changes to Patreon, if you like that stuff, and maybe there might be some other new stuff kind of coming your way in the following. Lots of stuff going on, though. I'm excited for March. Like you said, there's a lot of good stuff coming forward. And, yeah, we're just going to keep this train rolling, man. We made it through these few hard weeks here, and we're going to keep going. So,
For episode 229. Have a great night, everybody.
see ya.